So this is part two. We've taken the saddle out. The next thing you need to do, create your own little sanding workstation. This is 120 grit sandpaper. Does the job, takes off quite a lot of the bone, which you need to do because the replacement saddles are really high. Secure it on a nice flat surface, because the point of this is you need to make sure that when you're sanding, even pressure is applied to the base of the saddle. You sand the base, not the top, otherwise you will lose the definition of the curves of the radius at the top of the saddle. You don't want to do that, otherwise you'll need to get a replacement saddle, and these are 15 quid a go, so you don't want to keep faffing about and spending more money on it. So secure your 120 grit sandpaper onto a nice even surface. Put a bit of painter's tape around to secure it, so you've got a nice flat surface. Like I said, it's 120 grit. With the existing saddle you've taken out, you can use this as a reference now. So putting them sort of side by side, you will see there's quite a lot of material needed to be taken off. If you can see that properly, good few millimeters needs to come off. So line up the saddle. The replacement is slightly longer as well, so I'll need to sand the edge off as well. So the first thing I like to do is make sure that the radius matches by placing the saddle alongside it, and you'll see that that's a fairly decent match there in terms of the radius. Now we're going to need to take a couple of millimeters off the edge here, so line it up flat on the floor here, on the surface, sorry, and get a pencil. This is from IKEA, but you can buy pencils anywhere. Doesn't have to be IKEA. And just make a mark where you need to take some of the length off with the pencil. And the same again in terms of height. Put your saddle down. You can see this actually. Put the saddle down and make a line where you're going to sand the material. So I can see that's a good few millimeters it's going to have to come off. Obviously stop before that line, you don't want to take too much off just in case you've gone too far. And with my little Stu Mac, it's like a DJ, isn't it, off Radio 1. Get it as straight as you can and draw a nice thick pencil line which will tell you where you need to sand. Same on the edge. Pencil mark here, and you'll be left with a saddle that looks like that. So you're going to be taking off all this material below this line here. This is the boring bit. Applying equal pressure with your fingers. Those of a nervous disposition who don't like the sound of nails down a blackboard, this probably isn't for you. You start sanding, equal pressure across, backwards and forwards, just removing all the excess material from the bottom of the saddle. Again, equal pressure, otherwise you'll end up with an uneven bass and the tone and intonation of the guitar is going to be thrown out, because this is an electroacoustic and it sits on copper bass which provides balance across the strings. If there's any kind of divots or anything like that, it's not going to make proper contact, flush contact with the bass. So backwards and forwards, working away, and you'll see that the bone comes off like that. A bit like that stuff that Tory MPs like to participate in when they're being filmed covertly by the news of the world. So this is a long old process. You don't want to sit here watching me do this for about an hour. Well, you might do actually, because you might not have anything to do, but it's a long old job. So I'm going to do this, stop recording, and I'll come back when I've got the majority of that off, and then we'll go and show you how you begin shaping the end and the final fitting. So I'll see you in a bit. Thank you.